What's up, guys? Welcome back to Whiskey and History. Today, we're going to get started on day one of the Battle of Gettysburg. If you're just tuning in, welcome. If you've been following with me on this series, welcome back. Pull up a chair, let's have a drink. Okay, so it's July 1st, 1863. The day the peaceful little town of Gettysburg set the stage to be one of the most intense, chaotic, and brutal battles of the Civil War. And it all started with a clash that nobody really planned. Have you ever had one of those days that just spiral out of control? Yeah, well, the Union and Confederate forces can relate. Now, let's set the scene. Here we are, just outside of Gettysburg. Over here at McPherson's Ridge is where Union Cavalry General John L. Buford decided to make their stand. Buford knew that something big was coming, but he had to buy time until the main Union force could arrive. So, he decided to dig in right here so he could hold off the Confederate advance. It's like showing up to a party, taking your steak, and saying, "Not today, folks." Before we dive deeper into what happens all in these ridges and fields, let's take a moment. Grab your glass, pour a little more if you need to, and let's savor this together. You see, Old Forester has that initial burn. Sharp and intense, just like the clash of muskets that echo all through McPherson's Ridge. But then, it warms you up, prepares you for what's coming next. And you know what came next at the Battle of Gettysburg? A day of relentless skirmishes, tactical maneuvering, and many what the hell is happening moments. It's early in the morning when Buford decides to set up his position right here in McPherson's Ridge. The Confederate forces that were led by General Heath were pushing from the west. Now, Buford knew that he was outnumbered, but he wasn't trying to win the battle. He just needed to hold his ground long enough for the Union infantry to arrive, and you know what? He actually did it. And that takes so much guts. Those skirmishes in McPherson's Ridge, they were brutal, bloody, and just relentless. The men, they fought tooth and nail. Confederate and Union forces were firing into thick clouds of smoke, not even knowing where they were pointing at or who they were shooting at. As the day dragged on, more men from both sides started to pour in. The Confederates, they kept pushing and eventually forced the Union to retreat. The Union fell back all the way through Seminary Ridge and eventually into the town itself. By late afternoon, the soldiers were here, south of the town, and as they were retreating, it was pure chaos. With soldiers running through the streets, families hiding in their home, and also cannon fire raining down all over the town, roaring, breaking through walls, causing pure destruction. But here's the thing, even though the Confederates managed to push back the Union forces, Buford's stand at McPherson's Ridge bought the Union the time they needed. It was like playing a game of chess where you sacrifice a few pieces just so you could set up your own big move. If you look at this map behind me, right here from McPherson's Ridge, that's where they stood. The evacuation route was all the way through, right here in the town of Gettysburg, all the way here to Seminary Ridge. Buford made sure that he had given the main Union army enough time to set up defensive positions and prepare for what was coming next. So let's take a pause to raise our glasses to all those men that fought at McPherson's Ridge and at Seminary Ridge. To John Buford and his cavalry that held on just long enough to change the course of the battle before it really began. And to you for hanging out with me tonight. Whether you're drinking the Old Forester, water, or anything in between. So by the end of July 1st, Lee's forces had the upper hand. They managed to push the Union forces from here all the way through the town, all the way up to Cemetery Hill and Cope's Hill. But if you think that was the end of it, you probably never had a cup of Old Forester. Just like the first sip, The real fire was going to ignite over the next 2 days. But, guys, we'll save that for later. For now, let's take it slow, enjoy this moment, and savor the taste. Just like the soldiers that savored those brief moments of calm before all the chaos. Remember these ridges, guys, because in the end, this is where it all began. So, cheers, folks. Here's to day one to the Battle of Gettysburg and to the start of something grim, intense, and unforgettable. Cheers.